Hey guys. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Yes, no, maybe. With this microphone, I don't really know. Good morning. All right. So you can hear me. Good. All right. Great. So this won't be very long. I kind of wanted to go over the statements that Chris made, right? I really wanted to, I've been thinking about them a lot. So I wanted to try to break them down a little bit and see where we end up with this. Dog's life, yep. My coffee's right here, honey. Hey, Susan. So this won't be too long because I'm working on another whole situation video, right? But hey, country, Trish, Jan, Leslie, everybody was waiting patiently. So we're gonna try to break this down really quick, not too quick, right? But kind of quick, and talk about what, I don't know, things that I see. Maybe you guys see it too. Maybe you don't. I don't know yet, but the timeline, right? We're wondering about this damn timeline. So the dispatch call was 6:30 according to the timeline, the real timeline, right? Good morning. Right. So we're going to get to that, Patty, right? We're going to get to all of the little questions that are in my brain right now. They're in my brain, y'all. So Summer Wells was reported missing from her home on Ben Hill Road in the Beech Creek community of Hawkins County around 6:30 p.m. Mom says, okay, so Candace says, she went downstairs. She yelled for Summer. She looked around the basement. She went back out. She looked around. She called Dawn immediately, and Dawn said, call the police. She dropped her phone and ran to get Grandma's phone. We assume this to be around 6:30 p.m., right? I think we're all in agreement that we assume that it was 6:30 p.m., right? The dispatch call, we know that it was around 6:30 p.m. Okay. So if it was 6:30 p.m., then was Don at work, right? Was he at work? Don has always stated that he was at work. We know that he was working at the Meadows subdivision, right? He was at the Meadows subdivision in Jonesboro, Tennessee. So I mapped from there directly to Rogersville, Tennessee, which, you know what? 2 seconds here. Just give me 2 seconds here because I may have screwed that up. I'm sorry. Hold on. One second. Okay, I did screw that up. Give me 1 second here. I'm gonna put this over there. Can I do that? And I'm going to share. 1 second. Okay. All right. So can you see this? All right. So the Meadows subdivision in Jonesboro to 110 Ben Hill Road in Rogersville is 37 minutes. That's what it is. It's 37 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to make a correction to my PowerPoint here, my little presentation. If you give me just 1 second, I need to change that to make sure that we have the right information here. I don't want to have the wrong information on there. Save this photo as new time. And then go back to my PowerPoint presentation. Boop. All right, 1 second, 1 second. All righty, so delete that, add that, put you over there, all right? And I need to change one more thing. Hold on. That is a total of 21 miles. Let's say 26 miles. Sorry, I'm talking myself through the process here. 1 second. Speed and time calculator. So I'm going to do 70 miles and I'm driving 26 miles. 22 minutes. Fair enough. Okay. $26 miles. Yeah. One second, Shaw. Miles per hour. There you go. There you go, Don Wells. 1 second, guys. Miles per hour. Save that. I knew something was wrong there because I'm like, it didn't take that long. So that doesn't make it better for him, but that's okay. Hold on. Okay, so okay, here we go. Now we're better. Hold on. Yes, I saw your email. Yep. Well, we're going to go over that, right? We're going to try and figure this out right now. And we could be wrong, okay? But we're just going to try to be as logical as we can here. The official report is 6:30. That's the official report. Don said he was at work, okay? The Meadows subdivision. That drive would take you 37 minutes. He said he was speeding. You know, he said he was driving really, really, really fast, right? The speed limit is 70 miles an hour, right? It's 70 miles an hour. So we're going to assume he's going over the speed limit, of course, because, you know, she calls him at 6:30 and he's in a panic. He's got to get home as fast as he can. We assume she called him probably around 6:20, right? Because she's got to tell him. And then she drops the phone and she runs to grandma. So Don told Chris he was able to beat law enforcement to his property. It's not the first time that he said this. He said he arrived home at 5:30 p.m. Is that possible? Or was this an error on his part? Chris, in turn, spoke to law enforcement. They said Don pulled up to the property and had to identify himself as Summer's father. So that's a pretty large discrepancy. If you're saying, I got there before all the police, maybe you're remembering something. Maybe you're remembering a different time. Because when you arrived, the police were blocking your driveway, right? Speed and distance. Driving 75 miles an hour, he had to drive 26 miles. He could get home if he was doing 75 in 20 minutes. If Don drove 75 miles an hour, he gets there in 20 minutes, right? So he gets the call at 6:30 and he gets home in 20 minutes. Is that possible? Sure. Yes, that's possible. Why would the police say, though, that he didn't get there and he had to identify himself? Hawkins County Police, the sheriff's office, is 36 minutes away from Ben Hill Road. They get the call at 6:30. 36 minutes later, if they weren't speeding, cops are known, they drive really fast, right? So they probably got there in less than 30 minutes. But did they leave the immediate moment that they got the dispatch call? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, well, 70 miles an hour is fast, but it's the speed limit. My husband thinks 70 miles an hour is very slow. So I don't know. But if he left right on time, if he left the minute she told him, then he gets home by 7:00 at night. Hawkins County Sheriff's Office is a little bit further than, right in the same time frame as where Don's job was. Rogersville is a little closer. They're a little closer. They're 31 minutes away. So if they're both dispatched at the same time, it's very likely that Candace was telling the truth, that she left the property in Grandma's truck. She drove all over the place. She's looking for everything. And when she drives back, she said she followed the police up her driveway and she doesn't remember if Don was there or not. Those are her words. She said she doesn't remember if Don was there or not. I found that interesting because Don said that he beat the police there. So Candace would have been driving back up the hill to Don. Right? To Don. Not to cops. So, here's Don. There he is. There's Don. I don't know whose truck this is because now we know that he took the red Subaru. We know that part. We know that he was in the red Subaru. He was not in his white work truck. He's there with them. Hunter, who we don't want to believe, we don't want to believe Hunter, but let's think about what Hunter said. Hunter told Chris that the TBI said they can't confirm Don was at work. Candace says Don was at work. Hunter said Don took the kids to work. Hunter said Don called to tell Candace about a man on the property who's been touching kids. Candace said Don called to see what time she'd be home. Now, we had those first two statements. We had these, already, right? Then from Chris's interviews, we find out this. We didn't think much of it at the time. You don't think, yeah, my husband always calls to see what time I'm going home. Who cares? That doesn't make anybody guilty. It doesn't make anything. And I promise you I'm going somewhere. It doesn't make anything. It's like, this is dumb. Whatever. Who cares what Hunter's saying? Let's keep in mind what they said for a second, okay? Because we're going to We're going to go through this, and then we're going to swing back to this. We don't have any evidence at all in any way to say that Summer was abused. It's irresponsible of us to make that assumption, to jump that shark, to insinuate, it's not respectful to her. It isn't respectful to her parents if they're innocent, or her brothers, or anybody else. It's not the responsible thing to do, to jump and say, oh yeah, she was definitely being molested. That definitely was happening because of what her dad's done in the past. She definitely, this was going on. You know, that's not something I'm willing to put out. However, his family's allegations, we've gone over them several times on this channel. I read out his sister's statement and I could barely make it through it because it was triggering me. I couldn't read the words that she had to say because they were deep. It was really difficult to read, right? I hesitated to listen to Tiffany's video with Trish. If you have triggers, you don't go seeking out things that may trigger you, right? You don't really do that. I don't watch certain stuff because I know how it'll make me feel. What I did know was that Unmasked interviewed Mary, and there wasn't a lot about the allegations in there. So I was able to listen to that without feeling that sick, disgusted feeling. It was easier to listen to, right? And after listening to Mary, I didn't necessarily feel that the allegations were relevant in the search for Summer. Time and time again, I've said, Don's a scumbag. He's not a good guy. This is not a good man we're dealing with here. This is a bad person. Does it mean he did something to his kid? No. That's how I felt. I don't know currently how I feel, but that is how I felt. That just because, you know, he had forgery and he had this and he had that, does that mean he's also a trafficker and a killer and a crazy person who does these crazy things? Not necessarily. Yes, his stepsister. Yes, his stepsister. And I'm going to read the comments. I do apologize. I'm just trying to get my thoughts out a little bit. So it's been said, right, that he was convicted of or arrested for sexual crimes. It's not true. Should he have been arrested? Yes, he should have been arrested. Now that we have a confirmation on what his age was, I didn't have that confirmation before I read what Chris wrote in his Discord. I didn't know what the ages were. You know, I didn't think you were going to have like a 13-year-old arrested, but Don was well old enough to know exactly what he was doing. And my understanding, and I'm sure Chris will be doing some kind of video on this. I hope that he will. His dad, Don's dad, who is alleged to be a very upstanding, good man, prevented the arrest of his son. He was one of the ones who kept it quiet. That's awful. Where does that leave your stepdaughters in all of this? If you couldn't go through with it because you wanted to protect your son, where the hell does that leave them? And I know this is a different topic from Summer, but what a horrible feeling. What a horrible feeling. So anyway, his son was charged. And I don't know if there was some confusion about that on the internet. His son was charged. He was not charged. He did it. He did it. We're not going to lie. He did it. And he should have been arrested. But he wasn't. But his son was. But the same person who told us what Don did told us what the son did. And it is up to you to research that. And it's up to you to go find it and read it, because I'm not going to put words into her mouth. But she explained it as a more consensual situation. He was her best friend. Don Jr. was her best friend. And whatever that situation was when he was 19 is what it is. He's now registered. It is what it is. Her parents made a choice on what they were going to do with their child, and that was up to them. So yes, that is true. But he was nowhere around and has nothing to do with this whole story. How do the allegations factor into Summer's situation? Well, if we're going to go with, Chris's feelings, and I don't know that these are Chris's feelings, but if we're going to listen to Chris's videos and put credence into what he's saying and put some weight on that, then we have to connect some dots here, right? They're probably not going to be, dots that we like, but here we go. So his stepsister says that he abused her from age 5 to 12, and he was 7 years older than she was. Another sister mentioned that there was a situation with her as well. This original sister said that a friend of hers was also a victim of his. Does that mean Summer was sexually abused? No, it doesn't mean that. Could it mean that? Yes. Are there any crimes that we've seen this man commit that are of a sexual nature? No. Are all people who do sexual things to children convicted, arrested, or found out? No. Most of the time, the family hides it, unfortunately. They just hide it. So, Chris told us that the school clothing was super important. Why? None of that made sense to me. I'm like, the school clothes are important? Why? Why are they important? Well, then you ask yourself, well, what's at school? Mandated reporters, right? Was it being implied that the clothing was important because once Summer began school, she might become close to teachers or other people and reveal something? I don't know. I can't think of any other reason. Why are school clothes important? And maybe Chris is going to tell us. I'm just using his video to try and connect dots in my own mind here, because I don't know why the school clothes are important. Keep in mind, in all of this, we're making this assumption that Candace only knows what Candace knows. If any of these speculations are true, Candace doesn't. In my head, Candace doesn't know. So yeah, she goes and buys her a new school outfit because she's excited that she's starting school. Does Dawn feel the same way? I don't know. I have no idea. Right. We're gonna read comments here in a sec. So maybe Loch Ness, maybe, but when you start thinking and going, down the road of all of these dots that people are trying to connect, is that what we tried to avoid doing in the beginning? Yes. This is exactly what I didn't want to do, right? I don't want to connect imaginary dots that accuse a parent of something while they're going through one of the worst times in their lives. However, Chris has spoken to all of these people. He is an ex-homicide detective. I am a lady who sits on YouTube. Two very different things. I've talked to nobody. I don't know what has gone on here. So I have to give what he says more weight than what I say. And I don't know if he's trying to connect Dawn to this. But here's my theory. If I'm going to follow Chris's line of thinking, here's where I'm at. He said 5:30 because he was home at 5:30. Because he borrowed. Now, you guys are going to be like, whoa, this is like a psychotic theory. What the hell are you talking about? Hear me out. This really is a crazy theory, right? But we're going to run down the road together here. And then we're going to think about what we think of this stupid ass theory of mine. And this is just based on what's been said. We're using what's been said, and we're just fucking jumping out the window. He was home at 5:30. He was home in a red truck. He was home in a red truck with ladders and paint cans in the back because it came from the job site. He left his Subaru and his phone at the job site in the meadows. He drove home. He parked the car at the dog trail, the truck, the red truck. He goes up the dog trail because he knows what time Candace is going to be home because Candace told him what time she was going to be home. He sees Summer come out because she's going to go play her in her swing, and he takes her. He puts her back in the truck. He drives back to wherever it is that he's going. His phone the entire time is pinging at the job site. It's not pinging anywhere else, so the police aren't going to find anything on that. He does whatever it is that he does to her in this imaginary scenario, and then he goes back to his job site. And then he gets the call from Candace, and then he rushes back home. I have no idea. I have no idea. If that's true, if that whacked ass theory is true, Candace is telling the truth because she doesn't know anything else. Grandma's telling the truth because she doesn't know anything else either. The dogs didn't alert because they know him. The question is why? If any of that whacked out theory that I just said is true, the question is why? Why are we going to be led down that path to believe that? That's based on years of experience that I don't have. I don't have the answer to that. And I resisted that. I'm thinking, what? But can I get on my forum every day and be like, all the cops are wrong. They don't know what they're talking about. Only I do. I was accused of that. Right. There's somebody in my comments who accused me of that. That I am the queen, honey. And I'm up here on top, right? And all the police, they're way down on the bottom, and that I treat everybody like peons because only my theories are correct. Although I say constantly, I'm probably so fucking wrong on this, and you should all unsubscribe. But if he's leading us down a road, I want to explore the road. Can we look at the road and try and understand what he's telling us? Is he telling us something? Is he going to tell us something? Or is he just speculating right now based on years of experience? I don't know. I don't know what he's doing. I don't think he's going to put a parent in that situation. But I don't know Chris. I don't know Chris. I don't know how he operates. I really don't. So I'm just using the information that we've seen and saying, is this possible? Is that possible? No red trucks come forward, right? He was on a job site, construction. Was there a red truck there that he borrowed? Did he really come home at 5:30 and that's why he said 5:30? Because people were asking Chris, 5:30? And he said, yeah, 5:30. And I'm like, it couldn't be 5:30 because she wasn't reported until 6:30. Dawn didn't leave work until 6:30. He wouldn't have made it home till 7. Where is this coming from? Even if you're saying to me, and this is what I thought, well, he said 5:30, Tracy, but he meant 6:30. No, he didn't mean 6:30 because she wasn't reported missing until 6:30. So he couldn't have gotten home at 6:30, and he couldn't have meant 6:30. So why did he say that? I don't know. I have no idea. It doesn't make any sense. No, Loch Ness. I'm saying he was in the Subaru. The Subaru remained on the job site. He borrowed a coworker's truck. The truck with the red truck with the ladders and the paint cans. Speculation. Crazy. Right? Possible? I don't know. You're on a job site. There's all kinds of construction trucks. I gotta take a ride. I'll be right back. You take it? Is that the truck that was seen? I have no idea. I have no idea. I just sent you an email that might be relevant right now. Okay. Slow the chat down. Oh, sorry. Hold on. All right, hold on. Am I allowed to read that? You would think, right? So my husband said yesterday, somebody just said, hold on, where is it? Wouldn't someone of work already come forward, right? And that's what my husband said yesterday. Oh, you heard this theory on Web Sleuths too. See, I hadn't even gotten there yet. No, the red truck didn't belong to Jackie Dobbs. Now, oh, wait. So let's talk about Jackie Dobbs, shall we? Jackie Dobbs was driving a blue truck that day. I got a picture of it. Hold on, please. I got a picture of the truck that he was driving that day because the neighbor took a picture of it. I didn't know that before. We know by looking into his Facebook that he has a red truck, right? But now we find out that he actually also has a blue truck, and that's what he was driving. So Jackie Dobbs is out of the picture, as far as I can tell. And I know this is a crazy theory, and believe me, I'm only, saying, can we connect these dots? I don't even know if we can connect these dots. I don't even know if any of this makes sense right now. And I think that maybe we're going to be helped when Chris does his next video a little bit. Maybe. True or not, I don't know. I don't know. But we can't ignore what Chris has said. You can't just blow it off. You've got to try to understand, So I'm going to try and read your comments on here this way. I'm sorry. Oh, law enforcement definitely knows way more than we do. Welcome, Tabitha. Hey, Yeah, I slowed it down. That's still not slow enough. Sorry, guys. I don't know. And I know, I don't even like this. I don't like any of this whole theory that I just presented to you guys. I don't like it. It makes me feel disgusting and gross. But is it possible? It could be possible. Right? So there was a blue van at the neighbor's, yes. Now, how true is it that what Jackie Dobbs was driving that day was also this? It's like it's not an Escalade, but it's shaped like an Escalade. But I could only see it from the back. I could probably show Scott. He'd know what it was. Welcome, Annie. He'd know immediately, but I don't know what it was. So. But this is curious to me. Here, where is it? The school clothing. I don't know. It didn't bother me. Thanks, Leisha. It didn't bother me that they said that she slept with her parents. I think a lot of kids sleep with their parents, right? I mean, but do you want to put that on somebody? All signs, can I? Oh, okay. So all signs says, yes, I can read this. Okay. I haven't paid attention to the car part of this. Just wanted you to know that I got a stack of missing flyers from Robin yesterday, and the red truck part is crossed out and says ruled out, attaching photo. Let me see. Okay. So Robin gave this to her. Okay. And it says ruled out. Can you see that? Why would it say that? Me too, Grace. Exactly, Jules. I couldn't figure out why the clothes were relevant either, but here we are. You can't see it. It's too small. Hold on. Let me download this picture. See it? Welcome, Janet. When did we find out about the red truck at the end of the dog trail, and do we know who reported it? I don't know who reported it, but it was very quickly, into the case. I want to... What day was the red truck? No, not the 18th. 28th. The 28th. Am I right? The 28th? I try and keep all this straight in my mind, but let's see. Red truck, TBI, Summer Wells. That was close. 26th. I don't know. According to the TBI investigation, shut up. They're seeking a potential witness in the area of Ben Hill Road on the afternoon that Summer went missing. Authorities learned that a Toyota pickup truck was seen near Beach Creek Road at Ben Hill Road Monday, June 14th or Tuesday, June 15th. In this process of doing this, we received information that this Toyota pickup truck was seen in the area late afternoon to early evening on Monday. So, or Tuesday, full ladder rack, etc., etc., etc. I don't know how Robin would even know that. How would Robin even know that? I have no idea. Hold on. Let me see. Starred. No, that's not it. Blue. Jackie Dobbs. Okay. So I need to edit this photo so I can show it to you. Hold on. Draw. Okay. So this was sent by a neighbor who took a photo of whatever Jackie Dobbs was driving, right? Allegedly. There it is. It's a Chevy Trailblazer. It's a Chevy Trailblazer. That is not a... Now, the original neighbor did say that her son took a photo of the person on the property while they were arguing, right? They took a photo of what he was driving or whatever. Is this the guy? Well, I see up here the do not, trespass, no trespassing sign. Isn't that where he was standing with Elvis? Isn't that where Dobbs was with the dog? Right there at the no trespassing sign? It could have been the blue van, yeah, that she drove past while they were, and she thought her neighbor had company. Well, her neighbor was out there arguing with this person saying, you can't camp here. You can't be here. And he was like, yes, I can. So I don't know. So Jackie Dobbs looked good there for a minute, but I don't think so now. Not if he was not driving what we think he was driving. So did Dom possibly buy the outfit and have it on video? I don't know. And this is another, this is a huge thing I don't like doing. I think for good reason, because it leads us down a road of nonsense, just nonsense, right? So they said could be bullshit though. If you could find that suite, that would be awesome. No, I don't know if the clothes are missing. I don't know any of it. I have no idea. The point of this is to go over what we know, okay? What we know, and that's it. I don't like doing that. I don't like the crazy theories that lead us nowhere. It leads you to frustration, and it implicates people who may not be even have anything to do with this whatsoever, right? None. Yeah, you kind of got to do it. Hey, Kristen. He wrote, yeah. Is it possible that law enforcement saying they were there before dawn is something Chris made up to try and get someone to talk? Welcome, Reluctant. Would Chris do that? I don't know him. A lot of you have followed him longer than I have. I have no idea. Hey, Val. I have no clue. I don't know. Would he do that? Did the TBI tell Hunter that so that could get out because they're thinking perhaps it's going to get out and make Dawn say something? He's been wrong on major cases. I don't think the FBI was impressed at all. Oh, who's Greg, the FBI profiler? What if Chris misunderstood Dawn about him admitting to SA? What if Dawn was talking about his son? I don't think Dawn was talking about his son because his sister and his niece have come out, and I believe Chris has now talked to the sister. So I don't think that they're making up anything. I believe them. Greg Cooper, does he have a channel? Greg was the one on his show. Oh, the other night, you mean? Coop. The one that he calls Coop. I like that guy. Yeah. But now he's talked to them more. Hey, Zam. He's talked to people more. He's trying to put together that puzzle, right? And in putting together the puzzle, we're out here. We get like little breadcrumbs. That's all we get. So we don't really know. We don't know. He misquoted things while playing the video. We don't know what Don was talking about. The whole interview is hearsay. Well, because we haven't heard him speaking, American Girl. You're right. It is hearsay. I wondered that since he released the statement ruling out abduction. You turn them over to the investigators. That is great. Chris is very professional, very careful. Have been public for weeks. Yes. Well, sorry, I didn't mean to highlight that one, but yes, they have been, right? What hasn't been, he never publicly admitted them either, right? He still hasn't publicly admitted what he did, but he admitted it to Chris. So is that enough for us? I believed them without Don admitting it, right? I didn't know the details of the ages, right? And I guess other people did. What I heard was 10 to 15 years. He was 10 to 15 years older. And then I heard, well, we're not really sure how much older. And I'm like, how much older what was this? Was he an adult doing this to a child? Like, what really was happening here? It could be, trying to put pressure on them to get somebody to break. I don't know. I have no idea. Yeah, Chris recorded the phone call. Yeah. Tony Hammond's, I don't really know, but I don't think it was a red truck. And I'm positive they've already looked into Tony Hammond's because he was reported to them about 4,000 times. So I'm making up that number, but a lot. So yeah, Nikki, we know now, now I know. And, people are like, well, why that's important? What if they were 7 and 8? Isn't it the same thing? Well, no, it isn't. No, it isn't. If they were a year apart and doing, children things compared to a 19-year-old man harming a 5-year-old, it's not exactly the same. Both wrong, yes, but it is a little different. And, I think that bugs people about me is that I want to have all the details before I will discuss something because I don't understand completely what's going on. And I don't like to misquote people or make up stuff. I don't know why that's annoying to anybody. Did Donnie Candace drive around? I have no idea. How old is this Dobbs? 70. How did Dobbs get 2 trucks? He didn't get 2 trucks. He only had 1 truck. He only had 1 truck. The blue truck. He owns a red truck, right? We've never seen this blue truck until somebody sent this photo. I don't even know if that photo's true. Could Dobbs still be in a red truck? Maybe. We don't know for sure. All we do know, somebody emailed me saying this is the photo that the neighbor released of what Dobbs was driving. I just got that a couple days ago. Prior to that, all we had on Dobbs was what he publicly posted. He publicly posted a red truck. So we're thinking, well, he's driving a red truck. Could it have been him? He was on the property. He had access. I don't know. I don't know. What if Dobbs and Dawn cut a deal? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. That's like, I don't know. I got the feeling from Chris that an abduction could be possible. Right, but not a stranger. So we have to kind of put those things together, right? You didn't arrive home at 5:30. So maybe you misspoke, but you didn't arrive home at 6:30 either because you got the call around 6:20 and it took you this long to drive there, right? It took you this long to drive there. About 20 minutes if you were doing the speed limit. So it's 7 o'clock by then. Could he have arrived before the cops? Yes, he could have. He could have. He's driving for his kid. He's flying, allegedly. They are, they're going to a call. They're going to a call. Are they doing 90? No, because it's not an abduction in process. They're just saying my child's missing. What time did they get there, the cops? We have no idea. We have no clue what time they arrived on scene. Chris says he verified with these police that they were at the driveway and Don had to identify himself before they let him on there. Why would Chris say that if not true? I have no idea. I have no idea. Why would Don be in Utah around his family if he had assaulted them? Why would this? I have no idea, Nicole. I don't have a clue. I don't know. No, never, no. I hoped that this would be, that they would have found her immediately and this would all have been over with, but no. So Dawn called to see what time she would be home. I mean, I can see where an investigator's brain is going to go down this road, right? Can anybody else see where it could go down that road and they could be thinking this way? They didn't arrive on scene right away. According to the dispatcher, they went to church first to make a command post and get direction. Oh. Yeah, you're right. The dispatch call, right? Yeah. Hold on. You're correct about that, Katie. Hold on. You're right. Hold on here. Can you guys hear this?
When you got the original call that mom went on the run, when you came back, the daughter was gone.
That's when the father is on. He's at work, about an hour away. I'll make his way home.
Careful.
He's at work an hour away. If he took Tennessee 81 North, he was 37 minutes away. If he took 81 and 347, he was 45 minutes away. If he took 81 North and Harmony Road, he was 44 minutes away. Irrelevant, but it's in the moment that this was said, right? I remember them saying that they were going to set up command at the church. I need that full dispatch call again. But I remember that too. No, you're not timed out, Katie. I can see you. You're right here. Why would you be being timed out? He may not have remembered. It wasn't about how long it took. He was on the job site when he called. Right? He was there when he called and said he's about an hour out. Well, you're not an hour out. He knew where he was, where he was. It doesn't take an hour. Yeah, Susie Q. Right? Right. Maybe Chris should not have left us hanging because it creates more speculation. You're right. It does. So I'm inclined to think abducted. I have no idea, but police will say anything. Well, yes. Yeah, they will say anything. They will. Maybe he was thinking time-wise, not drive-wise. Crap. Yeah, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, he did have white on him. You can see it in the photos of him. You can see it. I don't know how well I can zoom in on that, but I mean, do we know for sure this man was at work? No, we don't know anything. We don't. He's looking like a hot ass mess, but I think he might always look like that. I don't really know. There's a good reason they're releasing a timeline, but who's releasing a timeline, Crystal? Nobody. Nobody's releasing a timeline. We're just over here guessing. Oh, that they're not releasing it. Yes, there's got to be a good reason that they're not, because they just kept saying, good morning, Damaris. Jelly beans, same. I don't know why people are saying that, I do have pictures of Candace and the boys the day before they went missing out there hanging up flyers. Were they with Robin? I don't have a clue. Welcome, no one. Did I see a question? No, Val, I didn't see it, honey. What does it say? Val. I only heard part of it, but I did hear Chris say John drove past and he saw the boys at the shed and told them to get to the house. Then he went up the driveway. What shed? That shed. The shed in the video. The shed at the bottom where the little creek is. The mom sent the kids to the creek. And so they went down there. They were searching for Summer down at the bottom of the house, right? And there's a shed, like kind of on the corner-ish deal right there. And that's where he saw the kids. So he was driving up. He sees the kids. He tells them to get back to the house. And then he drives up the driveway. Yeah, California Thunder. It is. It is. Is this some kind of timeline in a news story? No. Nothing. Nothing concrete. They just say the circumstances of her abduction are not, they're not confirmed. They just don't know. No, that's not the shed. And he took that back anyway, Connie. He said that he wasn't hiding there. Don't you believe cops would have arrested Dawn for lying to police in a... I don't know, Nicole, right? Because, and the reason I'm so now interested in Barry Morphew's case is because he's been arrested on first-degree murder and there's no body. There's no body. There's nothing. There's nothing. And he's, it's a whole situation. So we're going to share this. You tell me what you think. I don't know.
Went missing on Mother's Day, her husband is speaking out, asking anyone who might have seen something to say something. As Megan Alexander reports, the mom took a solo bike ride and hasn't been seen since.
The husband of a mom missing since Mother's Day is making a dramatic plea for her safe return.
No questions asked. However much they want, I will do whatever it takes to get you back. Honey, I love you. And I want you back so bad.
Mom of two, Suzanne Morphew, vanished after going for a bike ride along this Colorado trail. Her husband, Barry, a volunteer firefighter, was said to be 150 miles away in Denver when she was reported missing by a neighbor.
Oh, Suzanne, if anyone is out there that can hear this, that has you, please do whatever it takes to bring you back. We love you. We miss you.
You think this was weird?
Barry Morphew and a friend are offering a reward of
I don't know.
$1,000.
I hate
We also know from a family friend that they did find her bike.
What kind of condition was her bike in?
The sheriff's department will not elaborate on the condition of that bike.
Suzanne
The
Morphew
frown,
is a
huh?
former English teacher. She and her husband live in Maysville, Colorado, an area surrounded by wooded countryside.
I had one person describe her to me is happy and active. I mean, was at the gym all the time, was biking all the time, was hiking all the time.
As time goes by, it gets us concerned.
I don't know.
Searching as though she's alive, and we do.
Sir Barry has been arrested for his wife's murder. Is it possible a person like Dawn would have a secret bunker and the shed has something to do? I mean, possible? Sure. Thank you, Jeannie. It's possible, yeah. He's shaking his head no the whole time. I mean, I guess a lot of people do that too, though. Phone records take about 30 days to get. Also, the clock starts ticking once an arrest is made. Cops are going to have to wait. Yeah. Yeah, the discovery is a lot on that, which I'm going to be digging into soon. I know, Eric. It's awful, man. It's awful. So, yep. Joe Clyde Daniels went missing 3 years ago. No body. Dad confessed and charged. Yeah. So it happens. Yes, it happens, but I don't know. So people have been asking me to do a panel and invite people up to talk. I can probably do like 3 people, not at a time, but are there any of you who want to come up and share your thoughts on this? Didn't they arrest Letitia Stouch before? Yeah, I bet that one was kind of obvious, right? Don't you think so? That was pretty bad, man. I think that was pretty horrendous. And she was just a liar from fucking Liaville. All right. You will not be let up here unless your camera's on. At all. You will not be up here unless your camera is on and I can see you clearly. Welcome, Emily. You get phone fright. It's not phone. Live from Liaville, honey. Live from Liaville. Candace's energy shifted immediately. Yeah, she didn't want that. Well, I've had a lot of requests for it, and I'm like, really? I don't know why you guys would even want such a thing, but all right. You got to click that link, Jazz. You got to click the link. Click the link, girl. You don't have makeup? Lizzie, seriously? It's a situation here. But I won't be on long, so we got to keep it brief. Don't make me be rude to you. Yeah, you could do it on your phone. Finally, a panel. I wish Tiffany would go up with you one day. Maybe we have to plan that out. Panels are all right. They're all right. Yeah. I'm not very good at them, but thank you, Nicole. Yeah, you don't even need a bra here. You don't need to smell good, honey. You could be smoking a cigarette if you feel like it, The dingo ate my baby lady, was arrested 10 years later. Hoo-wee. I find it all. Dawn's eldest daughter is not coming forward. Yeah, it is bad. In my opinion, Candace energy. Yes, you are wet. Yes, you are wet. Finland. Wow. Finland. I want to go to Finland. Oh, I see you, girl. All right, here she comes.
Do I have to keep the camera on?
No, I see you. You can leave now.
I'm out doing my yard today. But I've been wanting to talk to somebody, and I think I feel comfortable doing it with you. Because you have an open mind, and we completely disagree on this. First off, I have family in the hills of Kentucky. right? Very isolated. Ain't nobody getting up that hill without anybody knowing about it. There's no way a stranger would go up there.
Mm-hmm.
No way. And then, like with charge, like I don't know, a prosecutor needs so much evidence to bring
Yeah.
charges. And if it's all circumstantial and there's no body, this could take a while. It took Barry Morphew a year,
True.
but they will gain it. But a prosecutor won't touch it without it. You know what I'm saying?
True. I agree with that. They're waiting. You know, in my own imagination, I assume everything's like CSI, honey, and it's wrapped up in an hour. You know, oh, you were at work, and then they go to work and they find out he wasn't at work, and then they come and tell us all about it. But it doesn't work like that.
No, I had a sister who went missing 1995. So it was before DNA really hit the market and all that.
Oh.
Well, she went missing. She was missing for 10 days. Never one time did I not search or was at the police department. You just go. That's all you can do. And how these parents can't do that is unknown to me. Well, anyways, once they found my sister, well, she was dead, but they couldn't prosecute her, anybody, because they didn't have enough evidence. They know who did it. They know how they did it, but they didn't have the evidence. Nobody saw them. Nobody talked.
Right.
So it went cold. So I don't think people realize how much evidence you need.
True.
For especially a murder charge.
Well, Jazz and Aries is on.
Hi.
Hello. How are you?
Good. How are you? What are we doing? Talking about our opinion or?
Yeah. How do you feel? What do you think?
It's kind of hard. I don't know. I feel like it's easy to blame the parents, but then again, we don't really have proof. And a lot of stuff is based on the way they live and how they look.
Yeah.
Not us, but some people are doing that.
Sure.
I do think that there's inconsistencies, but I keep saying, like, I hope nothing ever happens where I have to account for my time because I don't ever look at what time it is. And because my kids aren't in school right now and I'm home. So I don't have a reason to be like, oh, well, what time did you go to the drugstore? I have no idea.
You remember, I freaked out yesterday. I was like, it's 11 o'clock? Like, I had no idea it was 11 o'clock. I'm like, oh my God, I got to get out of here.
Exactly. And like the other thing is my husband's one of them people that everything is 5 minutes. If you say to him, hey, the grass needs to be cut. Okay, that only takes 5 minutes. So, I mean, I feel like Candace could be, there's a lot of people that do that. Everything to them is like, oh, it was 5 minutes. And I don't think she was purposely lying. I think it's more like, like she said, oh, that picture was 5 minutes down the road where she fell asleep 5 minutes down the road. And it took her 5 minutes with the knee brace. It could have took 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Like that kind of stuff, I don't feel like is her lying. And the abduction thing can happen. And I just remember, I don't know if any of you heard of this little girl. She was 12 years old. I went and looked for her. I live in South Jersey and it was in Clayton. Her name was Autumn Pasquale. She was 12 years old. She went missing and they didn't blame the family, but I went searching for this little girl for 2 days and I was searching with the police. And I remember the cops saying to us, she just ran away. She'll be back. Well,
which is the answer they always give.
Yeah. And guess what? Her friends killed her over a bicycle and they still are not in jail. You can look up her case. They hid her in their basement for 3 days. It was a 13-year-old and an 18-year-old that killed her over a bike.
How awful is that?
And the night of her prayer vigil, they were searching around those people's house and the dogs alerted to a trash can. They put her in a freaking trash. She was dead in a trash can. But like the cop's first answer is always like, oh, they'll be back. They just kind of disappeared, like kind of went away. So I don't know. It's hard. Like, I don't feel like law enforcement isn't doing their job.
Right.
And I feel like Don is kind of suspicious in his past. But at the same time, like, besides the domestic violence in October, He hasn't been in any trouble in what, 20 years?
Yeah.
And even if my father was a heroin addict and an alcoholic. My father was not typical. He went to work all the time. He never stole from people. He paid for his drugs, but he never didn't make him like a bad person.
Right.
And, I don't know. They are saying Candace only had weed in her system. I don't know any weed people that are going to buy a child.
No.
Like that puts them in more. A drug dealer is not, especially the ones, in little local towns, are not trying to get caught trafficking a child.
True.
I
True.
mean,
But I heard, I don't know how true this is at all, that his drug of choice was something much more expensive than weed. But he didn't test positive either. So is he active using, or is he passively using?
Like they say that they live poor, but he does probably make good money. He could be like how my father was. Maybe he does do petty theft like he did in the past. But selling your child's kind of a reach. And they keep saying he sold his children to drug dealers. But I thought the sister said it was her that offered to pay to adopt the children.
So there's two different issues here. Yes. The sister only was going to pay to adopt the daughter. I don't know what she was talking about.
Right.
So she was going to pay him and the wife to let her adopt Margie, Dawn's oldest daughter. But he was okay with it. The wife said no. There's another whole story where he allegedly did sell the kids to his drug dealer, and the ex-wife jumped in and somehow got them back. Now,
but could
that be true?
Is somebody saying it?
I have no idea. I heard it once before on a Facebook post by the family member. Then I heard it as a rumor. They asked on Unmasked, is this true or not? And she kind of made it very minimal. But then I read in Chris's Discord, the interview room's Discord yesterday, that he did confirm that story.
Okay. I mean, that's kind of crazy. But if he was really deep into his addiction at that point,
he was pretty hardcore into it then, yeah.
Right. And I mean, I guess past behavior can predict future. I don't know. I just feel like why just get rid of her if it was the family? Why just let's get rid of our child? And I kind of could go with the accident theory like Gray has. I can see that happening, but the only way I can see her getting rid of her child over an accident is if it was an accident involving one of the boys. Not if it was an accident on her.
Right. I can't even see that, because then all of them have to be able to trick all of these agencies. And there's just no way it's happening. Could Dawn maybe get away with tricking an agency? Maybe. Yeah. He might be more skilled at being able to do that. But can I see Candace and Grandma and Dawn tricking the FBI, the TBI, the sheriff's office? I don't know. I don't see that happening. And the kids would
have said something by now. They're all separated.
Exactly.
So, I mean, and everybody's stuck on like, oh, well, nobody could walk in that house to kidnap her. Who said they did? And who said that they went up the driveway? I mean, obviously. Right. Yep, the kid probably went outside. She could have even walked past her brothers and went out the side door.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like maybe they were involved in their TV or playing their game and they didn't notice her go out. She could have went in the basement to play and then went back upstairs and went outside to go to her swing or wherever she goes. Yeah. And maybe Candace was, talking to her mother and didn't notice. I'm going to be honest. My daughter is handicapped and doesn't speak. And when she was 4 years old, I was in the kitchen. We had just moved to my house. And I was in the kitchen cooking her macaroni and cheese. And she didn't want to come in. And my window was facing her swing set. I literally turned my back. I dumped the noodles and mixed them watching her. I turned my back to put the pot on the stove. I went right back to the window. She was gone. And my first reaction wasn't to call 911. I was like, oh, my God, which way do I go first? I can call her, but she can't answer me because she's nonverbal. And my husband happened to be home. And I was like, I can't find Kristen. So we both split up. She was thankfully sitting on the front steps. So I can understand why she called.
Terrifying still, though.
Right. It's scary. Yeah. It's so scary. And you are scrambled in your brain. Like, oh, my God, where do I go? What do I do? Which place do you go first?
Well, see, somebody just asked. So Dawn confirmed that he did that? No. In Chris's Discord, Chris the ex-homicide detective, he spoke to the family members. They are confirming this. They are, not Dawn. Dawn is confirming that he molested or he touched or he did something with the sister. He is saying, yes, I did do that. Yes, I was touching him.
That's kind of why I believe him. He is admitting to a lot of nasty stuff.
Which is insane to me. But I'm like, hey, at least he admitted it. I'm glad he admitted it. Now we know for sure it's true.
I mean, it doesn't mean that makes him a good person, but it could make him have... I just don't understand. He didn't kill his first 2 kids. You know, Candace didn't kill her first 2 kids when she was on meth and with a dangerous guy.
Thank you guys for the super chat.
I'm so... I don't know. I feel like somebody could have walked up in that yard and just taken the child. Or she could have wandered. She could have wandered herself down the little trail, and the wrong person was driving down the road at the right time.
Did you guys all see Jamie's video? Jamie, the Wilson, the remember the guy who did the video of Warrior's Path? Were you guys able to see that video yet? That's crazy. Look at that path. He goes a lot slower than Dawn does. And it shows that path, how easy it could be.
Right. And I understand that it's less likely of a scenario. More of times we see that it is a parent or a relative. Yeah. But I mean, stranger abduction does happen. There are like 300 and some thousand children in the US missing every year. 300 and some thousand parents didn't kill their child.
Right. Right. And they want to say 90% are runaways of the missing children. And less than 1%, which is about 300, we figured out in our stats video that we did here, it's 300 kids. 1 is too many if it's your kid.
Exactly.
Right?
And I get people are looking at Don crazy because of his posts and stuff. And I try to put myself in the parents' position. I mean, let's just pretend they're completely innocent because we don't really know. We don't know. If their story is accurate and they are telling the truth, all the things that are being dug up about them and said about them, I would be flipping out myself. I mean, they've had their whole life destroyed. Their child is gone. Their other kids were taken.
They're literally trying to do that right now to Michael Vaughn Monkey, to his parents. They're trying to get away with exactly what they're doing to the Wells to Michael's parents.
Oh, I saw that.
Just
and
like,
the
are you kidding
wasn't even there.
Wasn't even the poor babysitter is being just disparaged everywhere. She was at her own home. The mother was at work and the father was changing the baby. And people are like, you got to look at the stepdad. I'm like, there's not even a stepdad. You guys are legitimately making up stuff just to harm people's lives. It's crazy.
Why? I don't understand why. If they put all that energy into trying to help, I just, I don't know. I get people have their opinions and I respect that because I don't know these people. I don't know if they're innocent.
Right.
But I really feel like, yes, they should be looked at and they should be completely everything looked into by law enforcement, FBI. But as the public, do we really have the right to dig up their past from 30 years ago?
Well, I
mean, 20 years ago, especially he hasn't.
I think law enforcement.
I get it why we're doing it, to discuss the options.
Well, law enforcement has the right to do that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Can you see me now?
Yeah, you were frozen there for a second. Just one second.
Sorry.
Don brought up how his dad let him drive a truck alone at 6. Why did he bring that up? Was Josie driving the truck? I don't know. I think he was saying, he used to feel like he was a very confident man. He used to feel good about himself. I think he was trying to say who the hell knows? Don talks in circles, right? And I will say, a lot of the time, the past is absolutely irrelevant. I know many, 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 many criminals who are now not criminals. I know some addicts who are still addicts. I know some molesters who molested, my own molester. Didn't go on to molest other children. It was just me, lucky as I was. So does it always turn out the way that you want to portray it in your mind? No, it doesn't. It just doesn't. Does that mean we're saying, Don's this really good guy, guys, and you should be so nice to him? Absolutely not.
No.
That's not what anybody's saying. Don is not a good person. We've said that over and over and over again. He's not a good person. That doesn't mean he harmed his child.
Exactly.
Candace is not educated. Candace
No.
is not articulate overall. She's not a great housekeeper. But that doesn't mean she harmed her child. Do the statistics rule in their favor? No, they don't. The statistics lead you to want to believe the parents did something, and that very well might be true. But is it okay for social media to tear them to pieces, to post things under Summer's photographs saying you killed your children? No, it is not okay.
No.
It's beyond wrong, and it shouldn't be happening.
Now, look, if one or both are guilty, they absolutely should be sentenced to death, in my opinion.
Death.
Right.
Death.
And my thing is, could either one, with Candace, I would say if she did do something, it was accidental. I still don't understand that she would just go throw her child in the woods. It doesn't sound right.
No.
Now Don, could he have been molesting Summer? But everybody's saying like, oh, he was molesting her and he's worried about her going to school and telling. She's been in church for how long? She's around other people. I mean, why isn't she telling?
Agreed. She is. And I thought about that, right? So before I ever bring anything here, I run it past T-Bori and BXO and I'm like, I don't even know what I'm thinking anymore, right? So when I brought up this morning, I just waited for their reactions and just, wanted to see what they had to say. And they were kind of neutralish, like, that's interesting. So yes, she went to church, but it's a very small little place. It's a controlled environment. Can they control how much alone time she has with Robin? Can they be present while she's with Robin? Is it an open environment? If she's at school, she's at school all day. You're not there, parent. You're not going to be there. You don't know who she's going to be close to. You don't know what she may say. And she's there for 7 hours a day. That is very different than an hour and a half at church on a Saturday. So that's why I thought that. Yeah.
Because the way you're explaining it makes complete sense. So that could be a trigger for him.
And they do get close to their teachers. You're now spending more time with your teacher than you do with your parents. So maybe you open up and you tell, and maybe he wanted to avoid that.
That's true. And that's what I was going to say. If Don is guilty, I would go down the route that he actually killed her more than sold her for drugs. Like the selling her thing, I don't buy into. Killing her.
So Tiffany Marie just said you have two stepsisters, a woman that worked in healthcare, his two eldest daughters who claim his two eldest children. I'm sorry. Tiffany, did that come from Trisha? That the Dawn and Margie said he did that to them too, right? That came from Trisha. I think that holds a lot of weight, and I'm very worried for Summer. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he have still been that? Did he maybe not change that sexual deviance? He might not have. And
see, I think our own lives factor into this. Our own lives have to. Otherwise, what are we talking about, Jazz? You're talking about how you saw your daughter go missing and you're like, hey, wait a minute here. I'm talking about my own molester who, while living in the same house with me and his own flesh and blood daughter, only molested me. She was younger. He never touched a hair on her head. Not ever. My cousin slept there constantly. He never touched them. Only me. So because Dawn did XYZ, does that mean Dawn did that to Summer? I don't want to put that on her.
I mean, no, I don't think it means he did do that to her, but I think
there are good chances he did.
There's more of a possibility than, let's say, my husband or your husband that don't have that behavior in their past. I think there's more of a chance he could have, but it doesn't mean he absolutely did.
Yeah, we can go down the road and say logically the conclusion would be he most likely did it, but we don't know that for sure. We just don't know it for sure.
Right. And then
I'm not comfortable accusing him.
No. And didn't his ex-wife come out and say that ex-wife, the mother of the first two kids, didn't she put a statement out that he loved Summer and he would never hurt her? And she was on his side?
I don't know. I think she did come out with a statement.
Back in the beginning. She's
She did
older
come
than
out with a
him.
statement somewhere, yeah. But isn't
And
she
in
like a
support of
homeless
him.
person too? Yeah,
Right,
I've heard a
she's
lot.
I know she's a lot older than him, but I think in the beginning of this she did come out.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel for this family. I feel for all the families, honestly.
Right.
You know, just like that little girl here in Bridgeton, that Dulce. You know, people did this to her mother because she didn't cry on camera and because she acted weird. Well, she was 14 when she had that little girl. She didn't
Yeah.
have custody of her. Her parents did.
Yeah.
You know, they still haven't found. I mean, I think it's a little odd. I know where Bridgeton Park is. I wouldn't leave my kid play out there and sit in my car. You know,
Right.
Bridgeton's dangerous. In South Jersey, you don't go to Bridgeton and you don't go to Millville. You just don't. You
She
will
was
get
sitting
shot
in the car doing homework, right, with her other
with her
kid?
little sister.
Oh, her
little-
sister.
yeah, her sister is a lot younger than her. And I mean, here she was 19, had 2 kids that her parents were raising, and was pregnant again, none of which have the same father. But that's, I mean, that I was going to call it Mexico because everybody does call Bridgeton Little Mexico. But anyway, I mean, I can't say that that mother did do something to her child. I can't say it because honestly, I don't know. It's weird. They didn't take the boy, you know, but there was nothing there. There was no evidence. They haven't found a piece of clothes. They haven't found a shoe. There was kids playing basketball at the basketball court. You know, I mean, Bridgeton's not real big. South Jersey's not real big. There's only one other kid that went missing and has not been found, and that was from the 1950s in Vineland. And it was like right around Christmas, and he disappeared out of his front yard. He was like 2. And they've never found a trace of him. They left his sister. He was out in the front yard with his sister. They didn't touch her. So, but I'm saying, like, as weird as it is, and parents react different. And a lot of times, like, I don't think people want to get on TV and cry.
Right.
I mean, Susan Smith.
No, they don't.
Right. And Susan Smith cried her eyes out.
Yeah, she did. Yeah, she did. My husband has a horrible past, felon from 20 years ago of being a criminal. These past 10 years, a total turnaround, different man, had never lived like that now. However, cops would think otherwise. Very true, Amanda. True. Very, very true.
That is true.
I mean, your past is a good indicator of what could happen, but your past isn't who you are. You don't even live there anymore. It's not who you are. It just isn't. And, you know, people want it to be that way. And, you know, I've seen too many people change. I've seen too many people change.
And the other thing is,
pause, Jazz, pause before that's taken out of context. I've seen a lot of criminals changed. I've seen a lot of drug addicts changed. We're not talking about the P word.
Right.
You know, I think if you are an actual one of those and you're seeking out these kids, you don't change that. It is who you are. Right.
And I guess my thing is his past is a problem and he could have changed. I'm just looking at his criminal record. I'm going to put aside not that what the family said doesn't matter, but I'm just going to put that aside and look at his actual record. He has none of those charges. He has no, you know, peeping charges. He has no indecent exposure charges. He has no.
They don't always get caught though. They're pretty slick.
That's true. That is true. And I do believe his family.
Slick.
I believe his family. I mean, I believe that this happens a lot, and I'm not trying to put people down, but aren't they Mormons and from like Utah? I mean, different people live right. Different people have different beliefs.
And well, I don't think the Mormons believe it's now we got damn
not specifically
counting situation.
But that whole family, I mean, I just saw somebody post that Grandmom Candace's brother is a P word.
He is actually a mental patient. He's been committed to like a mental institution because he is predisposed to this behavior or something of that effect. I want to read the information that they have on that because I've never even heard of them diagnosing it in that way, saying he's predisposed to this behavior. Predisposed how? What does that even mean?
Like handicap, kind of like almost like he's got the mind of a 12-year-old or.
Yeah.
And then so he doesn't know that it's wrong, kind of.
Mm-hmm.
If you in your mind you're 12,
that's
then you don't
grandma's brother, right?
Right, grandmom, yeah. So I mean, obviously these poor families have a lot of sad history. On both sides.
because his victims were afraid to speak up until now. Well, no, they've spoken, and the dad protected Dawn, allegedly. The dad protected Dawn, and he shouldn't have.
No,
but he
no,
did.
should've- Right.
So they have spoken up. But why would they come on Facebook? You know, there was no platform for them to just randomly be like, hey, you want to know what Dawn did to us? Now the baby goes missing, and this is the opportunity for them to come forward and say, hey, law enforcement, look at him closer, because a lot of bad things have gone on.
They know him way better than any of us do. And I mean, if maybe they think he is capable of hurting her.
So suddenly he abused his older children. Trish, this was Irish Eyes. This was told by his niece a while back. It was told by his niece. We can't say that, you know, I'm not going to say people alleging this are liars, right? But Dawn's son did come out defending him just a couple of weeks ago. Did he... I don't know. You know, I can't speculate into why Dawn's son isn't disgusted with his father. I can't say if it's true or not. We don't know. But that's what his niece said. His niece said, you did this to both of your oldest children too. So, hold on. Tiffany said, my stepbrothers didn't get charges for what they did to me or other family members on the other side. No charges once they did their own daughters. Sheesh.
I mean, it does happen. I'm not saying that the family's lying or that, you know, he couldn't possibly have hurt his daughter. Obviously, that needs to be really looked into. And I believe that the FBI and all them will really look into all this stuff.
Absolutely, they will. Yeah.
And,
absolutely,
you know,
they will.
I guess I just, for this family, really hope, and for the child, I hope that the last thing she saw was not her father or mother hurting her, you know?
I hope not. You know, I mean, I've tried to
wish-
stay away from the family allegations all this time until we really had, you know, a better interview with them or better information. And I think that the perfect person to do it is Chris. I do have a lot of faith in what he's saying. You know, I can't just dismiss him like, oh, he's just some YouTube guy. He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I don't feel that way about him. I think
I
he's
trust
a really
him.
smart man.
I trust him out of because I mean he still does the Cold Case Foundation. You know, he's worked very closely with John Douglas. I mean, he's had a loss of his own child. I don't think he would just put stuff out there just for clicks or money or I don't know.
And that was being insinuated, you know, and I'm just kind of like, I don't know him, you know, to even go down that.
He had said
road.
that every donation that he gets in his channel, all that money he makes from that channel goes into the Cold Case.
Oh, did he say that?
And, yeah, and he did say it also goes like what they're doing right now. He said all of this from these interviews is going to law enforcement in Tennessee for whatever they need to find Summer.
That's wonderful. Well, that's another reason. My husband brought up something good yesterday. He said, you know, if Dawn did something, then one other person knows. And the only reason the other person doesn't, usually if there's two people in a crime, the only way for the other one not to talk is if he's dead, right? So we don't think Dawn ran around and murdered somebody after he helped him commit this crime, like if he sold the baby or whatever. So he asked me, well, what's the reward fund up to? You know, and we know Tiffany Marie has been focused on this reward fund. And it didn't hit me quite the same until Scott said that yesterday. He said, well, what's the reward fund up to? Because depending on what it's up to, they might speak. You don't know. They might come forward because it might be more than what Dawn allegedly, you know, whatever that amount of money is. And I'm like, that's true. Maybe we can bribe them into speaking now. I don't know, but
I don't know. I am stuck between, did Don hurt her? I don't think he sold her. I think if to cover up molesting her, he killed her. I don't think he would have sold her. But, and then the other thing that I'm really stuck on that comes first to me is somebody actually did take her. It could be somebody known to the family, not like best friends, but somebody that knows, you know, kind of how they live, like somebody that's been there. Right. You know, it could be, or somebody like everybody's like, well, how would they get there? I live in the woods. I could show you my yard right now. It's literally, I live on 10 acres of woods, and everybody on my street owns 10 or more acres, and we all own woods. My kid goes out in these woods all the time. So, and you know, my husband hunts. You don't understand how many people like literally just walk around in the woods. They ride cycles in the woods. They, you know, they hunters getting ready to watch the deer and where the deer trails are and all that kind of stuff. There are people in woods all the time.
Absolutely.
So it could have been one of the registered sex offenders or not, but somebody that lives close to there, just walking around the woods and happened to say, oh, wait a minute. You know what I mean? There, I see her, and now I'm fascinated, and now I want her. You
also
know, and
possible.
And there doesn't have to be a car involved, because if it's somebody that knows the area and was in the woods anyway, they could just take her through the woods.
I'm going to share a little bit of this because I hope that people go and watch it. Hold on here. They need to go see this. This is Dawn's property. Jamie Wilson, also known as, I don't know, Jackhammer. Jackhammer, I think his channel name is. But there's that generator. And he's about to bring us down this trail. That is the dog trail for the property right here. He was able to go over there with a steady camera. There's that damn bus that I can't get out of my mind. Damn it, that bus. There's the blue trucks, not white.
No, it's blue.
So he's going to go down there, and he's going to show us where the woods lead you down this dog trail and where that road is. And so what I said yesterday was there is a place you can park down here. You're going to see it when they get to the bottom of this trail. But he does a lot of recording. You know, I want you to go see his video, so I'm not going to show the whole thing, but I'd like to get to the road. Here we go. Look at this road. Now watch. This is not steep. It's just not steep. So.
And I mean, I haven't looked on Google Maps, but are there people that own property on either side or behind them that comes up to their woods?
Yes. Yes.
I mean, I'm not saying
Jazz,
people did it.
I have Scott H. He lives, I think, in Rogersville or Kingsport. So I'm going to add him to the stream real quick. Scott, can you turn your camera on really fast?
Because I think part of the abduction thing that people are not looking at, maybe they don't know. I only know because of being raised in the woods and my husband hunting, that you can kind of get through places. Like when my husband hunts, you can park on these dirt roads and then you walk it to your deer stand and you're walking all through. So if other people have property, there could be access roads in between the properties. You don't necessarily have to park on the actual street. I don't know Tennessee. I'm just saying where I live.
Yeah, that's why I wanted to show this part. I got to talk to Scott, Jazz, so I'm going to boot you and bring him up, and I appreciate you coming up.
I'm going to the livestock auction.
Oh, fun. All right, honey, thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. All right, Scott H., I need you to put your camera on. Yeah, not everybody in Utah are Mormons. No. Scott, where are you? I'm going to have to kick you out, buddy. Sorry. Nope. If you don't have a camera on, then we're not doing that. Because I don't even know if that's Scott. So, look. Right here. You can pull off right here. Right? So when Chris was showing us the road, he was showing us that road. Saying, oh, cars are like flying up and down. No. Look. You park right here. This is not a busy road. Look at this. Yeah, I'm going to share it right now. You just hop right back up the hill. Hoppity hop. And you're back down. And you're back down. So maybe we'll do like a panel thing on Friday. You know, I swore I wasn't going to be on here that long today, but here I am again. This is the video. It's on my community wall too. They gave him permission. Well, Scott, because I kept saying, turn your camera on, and there was nothing there. There was nothing on there. It was just a gray thing. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, that's pretty close. Yeah, please go watch Jamie's video on the dog trail. You think that's a steep hill, Allison? No. A steep hill? Look at this. No, this is not a steep hill. This is not a steep hill. This is a steep hill? Definitely not steep in the least bit. No. Look, you walk right down. You're done. Look at this. No. Definitely not steep. No. Wait, if Candace knew. I don't think Candace knew. I don't know. I could be wrong. I'm sure a lot of people think Candace knew. I don't. T-Boy's like, it looks steep to me. I'm not climbing that. I'm just not going to do it. I don't think it does. I don't know. I told Scott, I'm like, I'm bringing you out to our woods back here, and I'm going to put Jace at the top, and then I want you to grab him and run down the hill. And it's just like this. It looks just like this. I thought it was Dawn that made the tape. So Jamie is another guy who is in that area, and he went there to specifically, he went and he got this video made. He asked them and they said, yes, that's fine. Go ahead. So they're letting the people on the property. I think on video, it doesn't look as steep. I think the video doesn't do it justice. You think? See, to me, it just looked nothing. I mean, am I saying I could have ran up it? No. No. I couldn't have. But, so this is the driveway. The driveway that I don't think anybody came up ever. There's the back door. So we'll play this little part here really quickly. See how he just turns around and that's right there? He just turns around and it's right there. It's a really dense area. There's her swing. And then there's that generator right across from it. So yeah, you should definitely go watch that video. Yeah, no one came up that. There's no way. They just didn't. I don't believe that either. It's really, it's gravel. It's going to be long, loud. Does anyone have an example of any mother that did not know on some level that their child was sexually molested? Yeah. Yeah. Most mothers don't even believe their kids. Look it up. They don't want to believe that. They don't want to believe that they miss those signs and they overlook them. They don't want to believe that. Every mother wants to believe she's a good mother. Sorry. Where is in the chat? Sorry. That she knew something other. Did Scott ever say what happened with his camera? Thank you, Diana. We will try it probably this week and see if we can get you up. Maybe I can hear your voice and just not show you because I know what your voice sounds like now. Should any local supporters that want to help the boys get home, even if the parents are guilty, Grandma Candy still has them in their house. needs to be cleaned and a fence needs to be built. Yeah. All right, off we go. We've been on for like an hour and 45 minutes. That's way more than enough for me today. So I don't know if anybody else is going live about summer today. Maybe they are. But I wanted to leave you with my new theories based off of Chris's stuff. Maybe Chris will be live and he'll tell us what's going on. Because he's just leaving us confused. And I hate being confused. Oh. Happens all the time. No, I don't think Grandma has the boys. No. I'm not really sure what Lizzie's saying there. She's saying Grandma can have them. She said maybe if the parents are guilty, Grandma can have them. Absolutely, Jazz. Thanks for coming up. I appreciate it. All right. Love y'all. See you later. Bye.